back to the Sabermetrics Network. Today we're going to be talking about the most valuable goaltenders for the upcoming 2012-2013 season. And we're going to evaluate the goaltenders and pick the top 5 most valuable ones by looking at several variables. We're going to look at goals versus threshold GVT, which is similar to baseball's VORP, value over replacement player. We're going to look at GVS, which is goals versus salary, similar to MORP, money over replacement player in baseball. We're also going to be looking at even strength save percentage and quality start percentage, along with the player's age for the upcoming season, because goaltenders tend to peak between the ages of 22 and 28. There are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, that's usually the rule. That's the age range where they peak. So at number 5, it was really tough. So I decided to go with 2 goaltenders. So it's a tie. And they both happen to reside in St. Louis. Yaroslav Halak obviously is the track record, making the big bucks, which is why he's not higher up on the list, because we're taking cost into account. It's the most valuable goaltenders, not the best goaltenders for the upcoming year. And on the other hand, we have Brian Elliott, only 27 years old, finished first in quality start percentage and even strength save percentage. Came out of nowhere and had an amazing year, but he doesn't really have the track record that Halak has, so it's a bit of a mystery if he's going to be as good next year as he was this past year. So that's why I decided to go with both in a tie for the 5th spot. For the 4th spot, I decided to go with Pekka Rinne of the Nashville Predators. 30 years old, but I don't think he's going to decline, at least for the next couple of seasons. He finished 5th in both GVT and GVS. I can't put him higher up on the list, though, because his new contract kicks in this upcoming year. 7 years, $49 million. So unless he has a phenomenal season, I'm talking not only finishing number 1 in GVT for this upcoming year, but probably if we're looking at a historical number of years, probably first in the last 5 or 10 years to justify or to be higher up on the list, because now he's getting paid the big bucks. But obviously he's still a great goaltender, although before last year he was just a very good goaltender, because he had a great year last year and he had a breakout season. So we'll see what happens this upcoming year, but I think putting him down for being the number 4 goaltender this upcoming year in terms of value, in terms of also taking into account cost, I think that's very fair. Number 3, Detroit's Jimmy Howard, former first-round pick. He's a lot better than Chris Osgood, but he's not as good as a couple of his other predecessors over the last decade, Cujo, Curtis Joseph, and Dominik Hasek. Howard's only 27, going on 28. Finished 6th in quality start percentage and GVS. Only had a .929 even strength save percentage, which was tied for 8th. But you know what? That's not too bad. That's not too shabby. And he's now put 2 years in a row of solid production together. So I think he's going to be slightly better this year. And I think it's a reasonable spot, a reasonable position to put him in that 3rd spot. I think he has the potential, and I think he will be a top 3 goaltender this upcoming year. Number 2, Henrik Lundqvist of the New York Rangers. Very good goaltender, 30 going on 31, but I don't think he's going to decline anytime soon. He's been a big part of the reason why the Rangers were a number 1 seed last year and competitive the last few years, when they were lacking offense, although they've had pretty good defensemen the last couple of years. Lundqvist didn't finish first in any of the major hockey sabermetric categories, but he was still in the top 3, 4, 5 in each of the categories. He was 3 in GVT. He was 5 in quality start percentage. He was tied for 4th in even strength save percentage. And in each of the last 5 seasons, he's gotten better. His numbers across the board have gone up since 07-08. So it's pretty reasonable to expect his numbers to go up slightly again this upcoming year. And he's also very durable. He's the equivalent of an innings eater in baseball, in that he's pretty much a guaranteed. He's pretty much guaranteed to start in 60 to 65 of the games for this upcoming year for the Rangers, maybe even 70, and even maybe more than that. So that's why he's at number 2. I couldn't put him at number 1 because there's another goaltender who I think is going to be the poster child for elite goaltending for the next 5, 6, maybe 7 years. And that is, of course, Jonathan Quick of the Los Angeles Kings. Only 26 years old. He's cheap. He got a contract extension recently that's 10 years, but doesn't go into effect until the 2013-2014 season. So he's still going to be cheap this upcoming year. And he only has a cap hit of $1.8 million. So he finished 1st in GVS, 2nd in GVT, and he's only 26. Tied for 4th in even strength save percentage, and of course the Kings won a Stanley Cup. So he's been well worth the investment, which hasn't been that much. He's well worth the contract extension, which kicks in 2 seasons. And I think the Kings are going to be happy that they're going to be reaping the benefit and the production from Jonathan Quick for the next 5 or 6 seasons, which will make the 10-year contract extension worth it, I think. And they'll probably, I don't want to say probably, there's a reasonable shot that they win another couple of cups, even though the offense had a bit of a fluky postseason in that they kind of woke up out of nowhere. So that's it for the top 5. I left off a few names that could have been on the list. Mike Smith of the Phoenix Coyotes. He never seems to get any recognition from almost anyone. He was number 1 in GVT. He was number 2 in GVS. And he was 3rd in even strength save percentage. And he should have been the league MVP. He was not only 1st in GVT amongst goaltenders, but he was 1st in the league in GVT when taking into account defensemen, forwards, everyone, all skaters. And he should have won the Hart Memorial in June, but he didn't. And he's 30. He probably won't maintain the numbers he had last season because it came out of nowhere. And previously, he didn't put numbers up anywhere near the numbers that he put up in 2011-12. So, taking that into consideration, plus his even strength save percentage, it's like a giant yo-yo, his numbers from year to year. His even strength save percentage will be in the top 10 one year or above average, and it'll go into the bottom 10 another year, and it'll go back and forth. So you don't really know what to expect from Smith. I think there's a reason why he's kind of bounced around from the Stars to the Lightning in the Brad Richards deal in 2008. So he could be a top 10 goaltender this upcoming year, but I wouldn't really bet on it. Also, I left off Corey Schneider and Roberto Luongo, but you could put either on that list. Tuukka Rask, I left off. He's in his mid-20s. There's no Tim Thomas anymore in Boston because he took a leave of absence, and he might be involved in a Rick Nash deal to Columbus for 2 seasons from now to play. So Rask might have a lot of... he has a reasonable shot of being in the top 5. And, of course, Ryan Miller. But I feel comfortable with the top 5. Top 6, because the 5th spot was kind of tied. but I feel comfortable with the list nonetheless. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.